Okay, finally, sorry. A couple of false starts there. Starting the writing equation notes, starting with writing equation warm-up from yesterday. I'm going to give you the pieces. You got to put it all together. We've got the m and the b. We've got y equals mx plus b, which is our slope-intercept form. So we're going to have y equals into the m is the number 2. X plus into the b is the negative 1. But we need to talk about pieces that we don't need. For this equation, we've written too much. We don't need this plus. It should say y equals 2x minus 1. So, there we go. We got that equation. We're moving on. Number 2, y equals 2/3 x plus 5. These are questions that take 5 seconds. You got to put the numbers in there. Moving on, number 3, y equals negative 1x plus 0. Again, you want to think about what are things we don't need. To me, this is a question that goes over some very important kind of concepts here. I think it's pretty obvious that the 0 is not necessary, but the tricky one is this 1 in front. We also don't need this 1. So we should have y equals negative x. That's all we need. We don't need the 1. We don't need the 0. Multiplying by 1, useless. Doesn't do anything. Moving on, number 4, we've got 0 and 4. So we're going to have y equals 0x plus 4. We don't need this x. We don't need that 0. We don't need this plus. All we need is y equals 4 as our final answer. We want to take out all the useless stuff. Now down here, here's where I'm starting to kind of go a little bit crazy. I like to think about writing equations like I'm a detective and like I'm trying to solve a crime, like I'm in some cool mystery movie, right? And these top 4 questions, they're extremely easy crimes to solve. I already get all the evidence, right? M, that's the murder weapon. B, that's the person. And they just straight up tell me, here's the murder weapon, here's the person. And so my answer takes 10 seconds, right? Doesn't take me very long. I have to make sure that I write up the report and I don't put any dumb extra information in there. When I get down here, it's a little bit harder, right? I show up to a crime scene. I got to look around and see what I can find. I can find 2 coordinates here, and what I'm going to want to do is figure out from these 2 coordinates what is my m and what is my b. The b value is my y-intercept, which is along the y-axis, which is right here. This is the b value, and that's going to be the number 0. And the m is the rise over run. So I'm going to rise 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to rise up 5, and I'm going to run 1. I'm going to run 1. I'm going to run to the right, which is going to be positive. So there's all my information. I'm going to have y equals 5 over 1x plus 0. But again, what we're really trying to do is get rid of this extra stuff. I'm going to get rid of the 1 in the bottom. I'm going to get rid of the 0. The only thing that I need is y equals 5x. Dividing by 1 does not do anything. Simplify your fractions, move on. The last one, then we're going to get into the new notes today. We've got our 2 points. Think of yourself like you're kind of a detective. You got to put the pieces of the puzzle together. We need the m, we need the b. The b value is negative 1. The m is going to be rise 2 and run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Run 5. I also went left, so we're going with a negative. Y equals negative 2/5 x minus 1. Is there any useless information here, any wasted information? I think it looks good. I think that's our final answer. All right, we're moving on. That was the review. That was your kind of wake-up, warm-up. Here we go. On to the back. We're going to do some notes. Now, just to be honest, when we were doing those notes from yesterday, like on the side of the warm-up, I told you I think it was the easiest day left of the whole semester. That means today has to be a little bit harder because you can't get easier than the easiest day. So we do have a little bit of a harder day today. If you look at these questions, we've got 6 to do. Notice that they all look extremely similar. We get a coordinate, we get a slope. We get a coordinate, we get a slope. We get a coordinate, we get a slope. So there's not much variety here. We need to learn one procedure. It is a little bit of a harder procedure than yesterday, but it's the same thing over and over. So the first question might feel a little weird, but once we do 2 questions, you'll get it. Okay? In order to write a line, we need 2 things. We need the m, which is the slope, and we need the b, which is the y-intercept. So if I look at my equation down here, number 1, and I'm trying to write my equation, and I'm trying to figure out what is my b, what is my m, one of those pieces is super easy, right? The slope, boom, 2, done. That was quick, that was easy, that was painless. 10 seconds, we're done.
Alright.
Welcome back. Now the b is missing, okay? Is the 4 considered a b number? No. Is the 1 considered a b number? No. Is the 2? No, the 2 is a slope. So the b is a mystery. Our entire question here is going to be trying to find b. So let's think about this like we're trying to find a missing person, right? B, she's missing. Nobody knows where she is. Her parents are getting nervous. Let's see if we can find her. So here's what we're going to do. We get this much evidence. We get a coordinate and we get a slope. The slope, we know that that's the m. That's half of what we need. What is this? This is a coordinate for 1. And what do these numbers, like what use are these numbers? What do these numbers stand for? What do these numbers represent? Anybody? I like that. Nice job. I heard people say an X and a Y. That is correct. This is an X, this is a Y, and this is an M. We need the B, which is none of these letters, but we do have a good bit of information. So here's what we're going to do. And like I said, this is a little bit of a more complicated process than yesterday, but we're going to do it. And after about the second question, it's going to be pretty good, pretty easy. We're going to start by writing down y equals mx plus b. All right? I like to think about this like person B, she was at a little party last night, right? She was hanging out with a couple of friends. She was hanging out with Y, M, X, and of course, she's B. So we're going to try to think, hey, you guys were all at the party last night, right? The X was there, the Y was there, the M was there. And if we can put everybody back and we can think, hey, you were all there, and if we can get everybody left except for B, that means that B will be the only mystery. And when it comes to mathematics, if you got one letter, you can always find that one letter. So, solving for this, what we're going to do is we're going to put in all 3 of these letters, or all 3 of these numbers into these letters. So, click, 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 click. I'm going to want to put in the number for Y, the number for M, and the number for X. First up, what is the number for Y? The number for Y is 1. So we're going to replace that Y with the number 1. Again, this is the start of the more difficult process than yesterday, so I really hope you're tuned in with me right now. Headphones out, AirPods out, not looking at history. Okay, we're going to have an equal sign. We're going to think about the next letter. What's the next letter? M, and what's the number for M? A 2. What's the next letter? X, and what's the number for X? 4. So we're going to put a 4. And then we have a plus, and then we have a B. And what's the number for B? We don't know what the number for b is. So here's what's important. We have to put plus b. We know what the y is, we know what the m is, we know what the x is, but we don't know b. B is missing. She's lost. Parents don't know where she is. We're trying to find her. You got to just leave her as a mystery. Now, we have a little bit of a problem. This looks like 24, but it's supposed to be a 2 next to a 4. If these two numbers are next to each other, like mx, are they multiplied, added, subtracted, divide? These are multiplied, and so we're going to put parentheses around the 4. That's going to remind us that that's supposed to be a 2 times 4. Now, if you can get this far, then you know how to do it. If you can handle this, the question's a piece of cake. We now have a one variable equation. The variable is b. We need to solve for b, and it's the same 2 steps every single time. Multiply. What's 2 times 4? 8. All right, so we have 1 equals 8 plus b. And what's the last step? How do we get this b by itself? We have to move the 8. And how do you move the 8? Minus 8 minus 8. What is 1 minus 8? Negative 7 equals b. And there she is. We found her. Oh my gosh, we found her. I'm so proud of us, guys. It was a valiant search. We had to work really hard. We found out b. We found her. That means we can write our final answer, which is y equals 2x minus 7. Now let's talk about some common mistakes before we move on, and then we're going to keep the pattern going a little bit faster. First of all, the most common mistake is that people forget to write down the letter B. We don't know B, which means you have to write B, 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 B. You're trying to find B, you need to have the B written down. People a lot of times, they write down this part, then they forget the B, and they get right here and it says 1 equals 8, and they're like, I don't have any idea what I'm supposed to do. So you have to have the B written down. The second mistake is, I just want to point out, the answer was negative 7. Does that negative 7 have anything to do with a 4 or a 1 or a 2? The B, you cannot skip this process. You cannot just say, I'll just put 4 for the B. It's going to be wrong. Guys, we're during math notes here. Let's behave like we're in math class a little bit. If you need to plug in a thing, go plug it in, dude. Number 2, we're going to do it the same exact way. We're going to start by trying to find the M and the B. Do we have the M? Yes. Do we have the B? No. We do not know what the B is. The B is a mystery. So, our goal is to try to find the B, and we're going to do the same exact process as last question. We're going to write y equals mx plus b. They were at a party last night with y and m and x and b, of course. We're going to think about what these numbers stand for. This one's an m, this one's an x, this one's a y. And so we need to put them in the correct order. The other mistake that people make is that they put these in the wrong order. The first letter is a y. What number has to go first? 4. If you can put this y in the correct place, then pretty much you're going to get the question right. Okay? It all comes down to this y. Make sure it's in the right spot. Okay? Up next is m. What number is m? 1/2. After that is x. What number is x? -2. And we're always going to put the x in parentheses so that we know it is a multiply. Now, I told you the mistake a lot of people make. They get this far. What did I forget? You have to add the b. Nice job. The whole point of this question is to find b. So, find b. Figure it out. you have to write down plus b. Okay, now that we're doing this, we're going to go to Desmos, try to multiply this 1/2 times, make sure you get it right, Mr. Collier, times -2, and we get -1. Okay, so we have 4 equals -1 plus b. Every single time you multiply it, then you move it. How do you move a -1? Plus 1. Plus 1. All right. What's 4 plus 1? 5. There you go. There's the b value. The b is 5, so we have y equals 1/2 x plus 5. It's the same exact question. If I zoom out, look at these two. It's identical, right? Y equals mx plus b, plug the numbers in, multiply, move, there's the b, write your answer. It's the same exact thing. Maybe if you're only half paying attention, you're struggling a little bit, but we're going to do the same exact process. All right. Try to start number 3 a little bit while I answer this phone call. Yep. You're good to go. So, starting number 3, we've got y equals mx plus b. I know that the m is 2/3, but I don't know what the b is. So just like every question, I'm going to try to find the b. I need to plug numbers in. This is the moment of truth, right? This is the part that I have to get right. If I get those numbers in there, I can handle this. What number has to go first? The 0. Why is it 0? Because this is the y number, and it goes in the y spot. Equals m, that's 2/3, x, that's -6, and we put the x into parentheses, plus b. Make sure that you write your plus b. Look at your paper. Make sure you put that plus b there. Have a good weekend. We're going to do a multiply and then a move. So here we go. 2 divided by 3 times -6. We've got -4. So we've got 0 equals -4 plus b. Do not forget that plus b. Most of the time people are going to do these questions and they're going to think, I'm kind of scared of 0. 0 is kind of weird. I like 0. Adding 0 is easy. Multiplying by 0 is easy. So I think that the 0 questions are actually easier. How do I move the 4? Plus 4 plus 4. And what's 0 plus 4? 4, of course. So there she is. We found the b. Y equals 2/3 x plus 4. All right. Number 4. I'm going to give you 1 minute. Try to get a head start on number 4. I'm going to come around and make sure that you're trying to get a head start on number 4. And if you get stuck, now is the time to ask a question. You should probably have a pretty good idea for the procedure by now. Every question is set up the exact same way. So look at your old questions. Check them out. All right, is somebody's candy here? There. All right. Okay, got an answer? Right. Mr. Sawyer? No stuck?
I bet it's the right answer, but it's messed up.
Grab the seat. We gotta do more than no way. Yeah, it's a vision. So why will it make which one numbers into the y? We don't know what B is. That's what we're trying to do. So go do it on the board. If you can't see it, we're gonna have to move around a little bit.
So on the first one,
All right.
I think I got
Here we go. That was over a minute.
-2 plus.
Let's get through it.
I think
Somebody sent a pass or something.
No, I'm saying is that.
Okay. We've got y equals mx plus b. This would be a very easy question if we had the m and the b given to us. We get the m, but we are missing the b, right? Maybe this time it's a boy who's missing, right? I mean, who knows? Maybe I was a little unfair by saying it was a girl before. Now, we're going to put in all three numbers, and we're going to keep the b. What number is the y number? It's a -3. Once you get that number there, the rest of this is pretty straightforward. The m is -1. The x goes in parentheses plus b. Now we only have a b left. We have all numbers. Multiply it, move it. Times these together. -3 equals -4. I can do that in my head. And then we're going to want to add 4 to the other side. And what is -3 plus 4? +1. And make sure that you have b, 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 b the whole time. So your b is equal to +1. My equation y equals -1x plus 1. Any thoughts on this one?
No, never.
Nice catch. Good job. This one in front of here, not good. That one is a useless piece of information. If I write -x plus 1, it's even better. It's even more streamlined. It's even simpler. Okay, we got 2 more questions. Both of these are a little bit interesting. If you feel like you've seen everything, both of these questions do bring something new here. So we're going to go through these really quickly. Be ready to write. You're not going to be able to watch a YouTube video and keep up at the same time. Here we go. The m is 0. The b is missing. Y equals mx plus b. Plug in the y, that's a -4. Plug in the m, that's a 0. Plug in the 3 for the x in parentheses, plus b. Don't forget your plus b's. And now we got a really easy process. Multiply them, move them. What's 0 times 3? 0. Now 0 times 3 is 0, and I guess I'll write it, but do I need to write 0, like 0 plus b?
Just write x plus b.
Definitely don't want to put x. So we could just write a b. If you want to do it this way, you know, you could do like a -0, but like this is kind of silly. Like all these zeros are all not important, right? It's a 0. It's a nothing. What we have is -4 equals b. The 0, who cares about the 0? -4 equals b. So we have our b, then we have y equals 0x minus 4. Think about this equation. What can we get rid of? The 0 and the x, right? We have to have just a y equals -4. We cannot have x minus 4, because if you have x minus 4, that looks like the slope is 1, but the slope has to be 0. Now, for just a second, think about this. The slope is 0. The slope is 0. Well, that means it's a horizontal line. And horizontal lines look like y equals. We've seen that before. So we just wrote the equation for a horizontal line that went through this point. The last one here, like I said, both of these are somewhat interesting. For this last one, we have a slope of negative 1/4. Okay, sure, a little bit complicated, but we can handle that. The b is missing, so I'm going to go ahead and write y equals mx plus b. I'm going to plug these numbers in. 1 equals negative 1/4 times negative 4 plus b. Please write down the b. It's the most important part. It's who we're looking for. Now I'm going to probably need Desmos to handle that, so I'm going here, negative fraction 1/4 parentheses negative 4. Desmos does all of that, and it tells me it is a 1, so I have 1 equals 1 plus b. And now that we're here, I need to move the 1 to the other side. Minus 1, minus 1. What happens? 1 minus 1 is 0, and what's 1 minus 1? 0 equals b. Now, I don't know if this means that b is dead or something, but regardless, right? b is equal to 0. So we have y equals negative 1/4 x plus 0. Is there anything here that we don't need? Of course, this 0 is useless. We only need the y equals negative 1/4 x. We don't need the 0. And there you go. That's the answer. That is 6 questions of finding b. That is 6 questions of writing equations. And if you look, all 6 of these are identical to each other. It's the same procedure. Put the letters in, multiply it, move it, you're done. All right.